The movie starts showing the experiment laboratory, where the experiments were being conducted on a few spiders. And they were being injected. And it was tagged NASA on the box in which they are placed. It is possible these scientists may want to send these spiders into space. And they want to conduct some experiments there. Further, it is seen that there is really space shuttle which is being launched. It means, it was right which was told. Now the scene turns and a senior student of college is seen, who used to write the articles about her department in a newspaper. And she used to make some reports. Her name is Marcy. She comes to know that a couple has come to meet her. That couple begins to talk strangely as she comes to it. As we are aliens and we have come from another planet. At the beginning, Marcy does not believe them. So she starts to ask them more questions. Oh, from where have you come? And she also shows them a photo. It is a type of a federal facility and military was also there. Seeing it, the male of the couple begins to feel fear. And he says to Marcy, "No, I don't want to go there again. I don't wish to have a look at it." He was panicked. That couple gets worried. Marcy takes it too strange. Marcy reveals the whole story, going to her editor. That couple is saying, "Federal facility is really awkward." They had panicked, seeing it. Then editor says to Marcy, "Use your senses. How can anyone be alien? They are just pretending only to get reputation. So they may be the part of news. And you may report that news which is really worth seeing. As some scientists are going to conduct experiment in the space. Just make report of it." Then Marcy says, "Who are those people? I don't know. I am not going to make its report." Which is that experiment that cannot be conducted on this planet. And it is being required to go to the space. Marcy leaves from there. There was still going on the told story of that couple in her mind. She contacts her friends. She says to both of them that we will move to that federal facility. They both were boys. One of the boys' name is Lick. Her friends also say to Marcy, "Which interest is arising in you to go there?" Marcy says, "Think yourself. There is a high security in its surroundings. And I am feeling strange as that couple became scared, seeing this photo. What is awkward to observe it, going there. They drive their vehicle towards it. They are all in it." On the other side, some video clips of that spaceship are shown. He had launched that spaceship. And they were also injecting something in the spiders along with it. There was plenty of sunlight where they were passing. The problem is detected in the system of spaceship. And it is going to be crashed. Spaceship falls in that federal facility while crashing. Where Marcy and her friends were present. Spaceship is completely destroyed. It is obvious that the astronauts in it were not left alive now. Marcy and his friends are scared. And they move beside it to examine. There was smoke rising from the spaceship. It was hottest. All astronauts are dead inside when Marcy checks it. But the mysterious fact was this: they were not looking like the common people. They were looking like the other creature. Because their bodies were swollen. Their faces had distorted. While other dead bodies were badly twisted. One astronaut captain of that spaceship was still alive. He was little moving. Marcy and her friends go inside. It is obvious that they were also feeling fear. That he is infected. He may not harm us. But the emergency squad and some scientists arrive there before it. So Marcy and her friends have to escape from there. Because they had come here without any authority. They hide themselves in the truck of the army officers. But a moving spider is noticed on the body of that alive captain of that spaceship. That female spider lays an egg in the body of that captain. Then the project head comes there who is tackling it. His foot is placed on the spider when he is moving inside the spaceship. Which laid an egg in the body of that captain. It was badly crushed, but his friend says to him that, "Put it into the plastic bag. We will conduct a research on it." Then they plan that they will blast that spaceship. So no infection may be spread outside. And no one may know that our launch has failed. People will think that it happened, reaching in the space. But the astronauts' dead bodies had been taken out from spaceship before it. Do you know where they were placing these dead bodies? They were placing them in the same lorry where Marcy and her friends had hidden. Marcy feels disgusting. Because those dead bodies were so distorted as you have already seen. And they had also a threat to be infected. Now they drive their lorry to the underground laboratory. All the scientists are politely taking all dead bodies out. But they all three, Marcy and her friends, are still hidden there. When those scientists move here and there. Then they all three hide themselves in another place, coming outside. Now some scientists take the captain to a laboratory, taking its body out. But all are left shocked, reaching the laboratory. The mysterious creatures had been saved there in every place. There were some human beings and some creatures had also been preserved. Which were looking like the aliens. Captain is laid down there. He was still alive. Marcy talks to him, going to him. He was in the worst condition. He warns her, "You all will have to escape from them. Run from here." Marcy had taken the photos of everything placed in the laboratory. Now he had the evidence now that this federal facility is so weird. They are not understanding a single spoken word the way Captain is talking about. Then Marcy asks, "What are you saying?" At the same time, a mysterious and a huge spider comes out of the mouth of the captain. Marcy and her companions begin to run away. Hearing this noise, other scientists also approach there. But that spider was very agile. It is an attempt to attack all of them. And it begins to throw on them its spider web. It kills one of the two scientists and starts chasing the other scientist. Marcy and her friends hardly escape from there. Now the threatening spiders had killed the female scientist. At the one side, Marcy and her friends had hidden in a room. Then the chief of that place also reaches there. He becomes aggressive when he knows that captain and scientist have been killed. He orders his soldiers, "Kill this spider after catching it." On the other side, Marcy and her friends come out of that place. And they move to a place of stairs covered with spider web. Marcy says, "There is surely a spider here." Then that spider really appears. It attacks the friend of Marcy and Slick. It stings on his foot. Slick falls spider down from the stairs while punching. They all three are sitting after being scared. Then they notice a room, which was tagged Project. Marcy and her friends step inside. They notice that many spiders had been put in the different jars. There may be kept to conduct the experiments on them. 3 of them start to examine that place. The friend of Marcy and Slick was an expert hacker, so he hacks the computer of that place. Marcy finds a photo when she is scrutinizing the things. She is left shocked seeing it. That belonged to the male of that couple. The male alien who had scared, seeing the photo. Whereas he was calling himself Alien. Now Marcy's friend had hacked the computer. They take all information from there, and they come to know that these scientists were experimenting on the spiders. Because these spiders used to lay eggs in the human beings. And these eggs used to grow in the human body. It means, they were like the parasites. And what they were injecting in the spiders, these were nothing else but the cells of aliens. They were being taken to the space. So the experiment may be conducted on them in the environment of the alien. They are still noticing it that they receive one more mysterious information. That spiders are very poisonous. It becomes difficult for a man to survive whom they sting at once. Now Marcy and Slick's friend is much worried. Because he had been stung by the spider. So he withdraws in fear because he knew that his wound is worsening. And he will never be recovered. Moreover, he will be ended soon. Now he says, "I will not leave that spider." He goes out to target the spider. But his body begins to distort and expand as he goes there. Being worried, Marcy and Slick go after him. But they notice that there is not their friend. There is their friend's glasses and much spread blood. It indicated that he was victimized. Now Marcy and Slick were very frightened. And they wanted to escape from here as soon as possible. They notice a lift. They go into it so that they may move upward through it. But that lift stops while moving on the way. Then they begin to go upstairs, using the stairs at the backside. They encounter a huge spider as they reach upward. It was bigger than the other spiders. Being afraid, they fall down. There was massive spider web where they are entrapped. Meanwhile, that gigantic spider is coming downward to attack both of them. Marcy comes somehow outside of that web. But poor Slick was still entrapped in that web. Marcy is rescuing him, but Slick says to him, "Go. That spider may come here and kill both of us before." Marcy was not willing to do it, that she may leave Slick alone here. But she had to rescue herself. So she leaves that place. Coming there, that spider hunts Slick while attacking him. On the other side, soldiers are also searching for that spider in that federal facility. Because Head had commanded, "Bring spider either alive or dead." But they are not finding the spider anywhere else. That spider is hunting every soldier stealthily. Now the supervisor of that project is also finding the spider. Meantime, he glimpses Marcy. He says to him that, "Who are you?" But Marcy escapes from there, overlooking him. Now the supervisor of the project starts to pursue her. He calls her many times, but Marcy was not willing to have a look at him. Otherwise, she may be seized. At last that supervisor of project captures Marcy. There is great fight between them. Marcy was struggling to flee, getting free. But he was not releasing her, and he was also shocked how she came here. Meanwhile, they both fall into a pool in the depth of a ditch while fighting. Spider also approaches there, which attacks on that project supervisor. But Marcy comes out, rescuing herself. He enters that spider, lifting a stick placed aside. Marcy had rescued the life of that supervisor. That supervisor is gratified of her and both escape from there. Now head of this project casts a glance at both of them. He asks that supervisor, "What are you doing with this girl?" Actually, he used to disdain Marcy, having a knowledge about her. Because Marcy used to write many articles against him. And this fact was disliked by the head. That head was evil-minded man. He says to Marcy furiously, "It is thankfulness that I got you. Now I will never let you live. So you may not write anything against me." He is going to fire his gun on her, pointing it. Then Spider again appears there. He begins to wrap him with his web. Now the project head was entrapped in this web. And that spider lays eggs in his body, getting the chance of it. It means that body of this head was going to distort. And he was going to meet his end. Now Marcy and project supervisor are fleeing. They begin to move upward, directly coming into the lift. But how Spiders had reached at the down of the lift floor. And he starts to damage the lift from the downside. After this, it can also come inside. Project supervisor hits upon a plan. He presses the lift ground floor button so the lift begins to move downward. In this way, the spider under the lift floor is squeezed. It ejects the disgusting fluid. They both somehow come out of the lift. At last, they were out of this terrific laboratory. Now they come to the federal facility. They notice that the head of this project was still alive. And he was seated on the chair. Marcy asks him, "How are you alive? You have been stung by the spider. And it had laid eggs in your body." He says that I cannot be infected because I am powerful. But how that poor may know that he cannot survive. He starts blood vomiting. Meanwhile, Spider's legs begin to appear from his body. And a biggest spider comes out of his body, tearing it. Marcy and the supervisor begin to run away. They come out to the public while running. That spider was also chasing them. Now the public is scared, witnessing a gigantic spider. Because the big-sized spider was not a common thing. That spider starts to victimize them. That spider was killing them with his venom. Marcy and that project supervisor witness a thing. It was the rocket launcher. It used to fire powerfully. The supervisor fires it on the spider but his target is left out. Now Marcy and project supervisor gets in the helicopter which belongs to the project head. Because they could keep an eye on spider where it went while flying. Now they search for that spider and fly their helicopter towards it. Now Marcy starts to fire on that spider, holding that rocket launcher. But that spider attacks their helicopter before she took any action. Marcy falls down due to this assault. Fortunately, she had tied a rope around her waist, which protects her to fall. Marcy does not lose courage at all. And she again targets it. At last, Marcy hits her target. And that spider's body is exploded. Marcy and that project supervisor are very satisfied. Marcy screams excitedly. And the movie also completes on this scene.